Dreams. All humans dream, though many do not remember their dreams. But what are they? This week, the Jackalopes explore dreams and nightmares. I'm Floyd Whiting.
I'm the dreamy Steve Sisson.
I'm Aaron Linden.
And I'm the nightmare Erin Kranz.
That's fantastic. As some of you may know, Emmy got another job, a different job.
She got a job.
She got
doesn't count.
She got a grown-up job.
Not this job.
Sitting around talking about aliens with us. So she can no longer be on the show, and we will miss her greatly, but we are joined by the beautiful Erin Linden, that we can also call Erin Kranz. So if you hear us address her as Kranz, that is why. And we are your Jackalopes. We're essentially four friends who discuss conspiracies, the paranormal, ancient mysteries, and the supernatural. So I've got something to make fun of. The Sleep Foundation describes dreams as a sensory, emotional, mental experience that predominantly occur during rapid eye movement or REM sleep, and notes that the reason we dream is still heavily debated within the scientific community. Bottom line, folks, we don't know what dreams are. We don't know why we dream.
I know what they are.
Studies show that around 80% of dreams are forgotten within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I mean, some say you dream every night, but you don't remember the dreams.
That's James.
It's just
when
like,
I interviewed James, I'm like, do you dream? He's like, I don't know. I'm
he
like,
asked you.
what?
Yeah. You just don't remember.
He doesn't ever remember him unless it's during a nap, which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting. What's really weird is sometimes I'll dream many dreams in a night, and I'll remember all of those. But then the next 3 nights in a row, I won't remember anything at all. I slept soundly through the night, according to my brain. But a lot of people believe you dream every single night. And there's a lot of different theories, and there's a lot of people who've been really working on trying to figure out what these things are. So a lot of theories and a lot of different studies say memory consolidation. This is essentially, and you'll expand on this, Aaron, because you and I have had this discussion. They believe, well, when I say they, certain scientists theorize that dreams actually serve a cortex purpose, meaning that your brain has absorbed all this information, and what it's got to do is go through it and decide what's important and what's not. And that is essentially what you're doing when you're dreaming. Your brain is going through all the files of the day, all the files of your childhood, all the files of your subconscious, and deciding what should stay and what should go.
Disc clean.
But the thing of it is, you brought up a great point just this morning when we were talking about that. Why would I dream about a friend that I haven't seen in 35 years? Well, your brain's trying to forget it, saying, well, you haven't seen him in 35 years. Let's get rid of this information.
Yeah, but upon waking, you obsess about that
Now
person.
I'm worried about
and
it
now
all
it's
day
new
long.
again.
So how could that fit into the theory?
Right. So I did a deep dive on like the science behind dreams. The definition, kind of like yours, dreams are self-generated, consciously experienced simulations produced by the sleeping brain, supported by identifiable neural signals whose primary function is still under debate, meaning no one knows.
No one knows.
At all. So the example, you dream of someone that you knew from 35 years ago. There they are in your dream, right? But it takes you like a hot minute to even figure out who they are. They're standing, like, let's say at a counter ordering, and you're sitting at a table. They turn around, and you're like, I know that guy. And you're like, Brian? And he's like, Aaron? And he comes over, and like, you sit, you have coffee, random things happen because it's a dream, and random things always happen, and you wake up. Well, one, if your memory is trying to purge him out of your mind, why is he there?
Why is
and
he
now why are
reminding
you
you?
thinking about him constantly going, I wonder what he's up to. And then all of a sudden, somebody that you've completely negated from your daily life, like I never thought about this person at all. All of a sudden, I'm like remembering his parents, remembering playing Rygar on the Nintendo in the basement and his Shih Tzu coming out and biting me. Like, all these memories come flooding back. I'm like, so if that's a purge, I'm not buying it.
It's a pretty piss poor purge.
It's the opposite.
It's completely the opposite. So I'm like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
There's no way that, because one of the scientific things is, oh, well, it's you're just wiping that hard drive to make space for new things. That didn't happen at all. Now it just got more crammed with useless shit.
Not only that, but now you want to learn more about it. Where's he been? What's he been doing? Does he have a family? What's he been up to all these years work-wise?
So people are like, it's just your brain, doing things while you're sleeping, whatever. I have no way to get a hold of this person. But if I could, and I called him, and I was like, hey, man, did you have a dream? I know it's been a hot minute, but did you have a dream last night? And not say anything else. And if he's like, yeah, I was at this counter and I turned around and we had coffee. Like, are you actually meeting up somewhere with somebody, like astral projection or fourth dimension or parallel universe? Or that's what I think it is. That's what I think your dreams are.
So your theory is your dream is a window into a dimension, or let's say an alternate reality.
Right.
Where you get to see through the eyes of another you, even if it's just for a brief moment.
Yes.
So there's a common thing in that dimension, though, where all of our teeth are falling out, we're in our underwear.
And here, that's
the test is happening. You didn't study for it. 100%. The universe kind of sucks.
So that's the thing. Like, have you experienced a dream like that?
Absolutely.
So you, as an actress, though, like, is it very specific where you're like on the stage naked?
I am on the stage. It is a huge auditorium, like a 2,000, seat auditorium. And I'm standing up there. It's a big Shakespeare show. And I have not prepared.
Yeah. And you're
and
empty.
I am vulnerable in every way, shape, and form to my castmates, to the audience, to myself. I literally am naked and vulnerable. Yeah. Yes, I've
Aaron, have you had
those dreams.
the teeth dream or the naked at school dream?
I've had the
you've acted too.
teeth dream. I've had the actor's dream. And I've also, the most reoccurring one is I show up and I do not know the combination to my locker. Like, really? I'm just looking at it like I have never seen this before in my life.
That's interesting because what it is, again, I'm ill prepared.
Yeah.
I'm ill prepared. Steve?
Yeah, similar versions of that. Like the automation system at the radio station is going to be running out of stuff to play. The counter's counting down 10, 9, 8, and there's nothing coming up next. You're like, I got to do something, but I got nothing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that unprepared.
Yes.
I think we all have versions of that.
And everybody knows the in your underwear or naked at school dream. I think all of us have experienced that. So that leads me to another.
No, Floyd, would you like to explain?
That leads me to another theory, though, and that is some scientists believe that this is threat simulation. This is your brain essentially saying, what are we going to do when and if this happens to us? What's the best way? Yeah. How do we react to this?
Yep.
Now, saying that they evolved as a part of kind of a mammalian thing, that mammals are the ones that are going through all this, as a way to say, okay, when I do face the bear that's in the neighborhood, what am I going to do with that fear? What am I going to do, as far as preparation? I don't want to be caught unaware because I've almost kind of experienced that, and I won't allow that to happen to me now. And so that it's a survival mechanism that we've held on to as we've grown in evolution and gone forward.
Something interesting about that theory, though, kind of like with the defragging the hard drive theory, is it doesn't seem to actually serve that purpose, because in those dreams, do you ever overcome that?
Right.
You either just wake up or it never gets resolved.
Or the falling. We've all fallen in a dream. And when you fall in a dream, just before you hit, what happens?
Jerk awake.
You jerk awake. And so it makes me wonder,
Grant.
Don't say phrases like that with Grant in the room.
It's very true. It's very true. But it's the idea that, is my brain trying to prevent that curiosity where it's like, how would I feel if I just stepped over this edge? Like, how is that a survival mechanism?
Or people used to say if you fall in a dream and you land, splat.
With before
that you
waking up?
Don't wake up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you know that?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because no one's come back to tell you
that guy?
Teddy died in his sleep.
I'm confused.
He
Yeah.
clearly fell and
we
hit the
know.
ground.
Yep.
We don't know. And it's not like anyone's, had the ability to study that, because even though scientists, they can hook up all these different things to your head and monitor where your waves are at and what's happening and, oh, it's spiked here. That doesn't mean that I can walk in, step around like some great inception,
Right.
and suddenly get an idea of, oh man, you got daddy issues, or something like that. Like, I know where this is coming from.
See, and that's the thing. So there's so many like dream interpretations, right?
Oh yeah,
Like there
drive me
was a
nuts.
clown and a sock monkey, and you're like, okay, whatever. Like those are boring. We talked about that yesterday. What isn't boring is what the hell are these things even?
Yeah.
Is it out of body experience? Is it ethereal something? Is it, Carl Jung said it was the global consciousness that you're living out what other people are doing, or you're seeing what other people are doing in this place, in this consciousness when you're asleep.
Sitting on a porch with a duck, smoking a cigarette, and drinking a beer.
Yeah. Why not? But one of the things,
That
and
might
one
be your dream. I don't have that
It's a good one. It's a very interesting duck.
Is it a reoccurring?
right. No, but here's the reoccurring weirdness, right? So I asked 20 different people if they had a place,
Yeah.
a reoccurring place. I would say roughly 80% of them were like, yeah, and I've never been there. Do you have a reoccurring place?
Absolutely. You and I've talked about that. And the way that I've kind of figured it out is because it's happened so much that I've tried to identify what is it, where is it, what does it represent. And to me, it represents it's kind of an amalgamation of all these different locations that my biological mother moved us to when I was a little kid, and it was under stress. And so I've just built this house
Stress
in my
house.
head. It's stress house.
Yeah.
And I've done everything there, buddy. I've watched the fields outside, and this is going to make me say, people are going to be like, that guy needs help.
They were already saying that, I think.
I've watched
Not this one that figured that.
This ain't the one that tipped the scales, bro. I've watched the fields outside burn. I've jumped out a huge, big, beautiful stained glass round window, firing guns at ninjas. Like,
Of course.
Oh man, it's
As one does.
I've had some amazing dreams, but it's all, and I wouldn't say all, but there is a majority of them that put me here. I've seen the street. The street will change. The house does not.
Right.
So I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's there, but near as I can tell, it's just under stress. There were these little memories, not even really memories, emotions, because when you're very, very small, you can't put that into context. And so maybe that's what it is. When you're, 2 years old, when you really start walking around and touching things and feeling them and kind of start to experience the world on a more visceral level, you develop an emotion about those objects, as opposed to a tangible thought. Well, not tangible, but like a thought out, chain of events where it's like, well, yes, this is furry because of XYZ. No, it's just what emotion am I feeling because I don't have the
that
words.
makes me happy.
It makes me happy.
Right.
Or I'm scared, which is, in my opinion, probably a more powerful emotion for a child, that fear.
Sure.
And if you don't have a secure place to go to, you have to learn how to deal with that fear on your own. And again, kind of like that theory, we're going to go ahead and throw out a threat simulation so that you can figure this out. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's just part of something much bigger.
Reoccurring place.
No, definitely not.
You've never had a reoccurring location?
No.
Did you have a healthy childhood?
Yeah, I think so for the most part. Yeah.
Floyd's like, damn you.
I thought I couldn't loathe your existence anymore.
No, I cannot think of anything common between any dreams I've ever had.
What about being on like you talked about stage, and you are a performer, you're a musician, and you've done a lot of shows. Do you ever find yourself playing a venue over and over again?
No, I mean, like I said, I've had like the radio station is about to go dark and I can't do anything about it. That kind of, anxiety, unprepared kind of dream. So I guess the radio station's a commonplace, but that's...
But you've been here.
I spend more time here than anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's too unusual.
How about you?
Why'd you skip you? Yes, of course.
I'll get to my own self.
I've had a couple. I mean, until my daughter turned 9 and we went on a Disney cruise, I had a reoccurring dream, and I was terrified to go on this cruise because we were near a fjord in a place I'd never seen. And like you, Floyd, I wondered, is this an amalgamation of things? I wondered that. But I'd never seen it before. And everybody's enjoying this lovely cruise. And all of a sudden, this giant Mickey Mouse starts the waves and the ship is turning and tossing. And then he comes and he's like, picks it up and breaks it in half. And he's a monster.
Mickey Mouse crap.
So as I was taking my daughter on this Disney cruise, my heart is just like,
Yeah.
because of that stupid dream, so that's one place.
It's amazing you saw what Disney was going to do to the rest of the world.
That's a very metaphorical.
you a fortune teller, man. Suits steer.
Which gets me to another point in a moment. But then I have another one, my childhood basement. I'm there a lot. And that was where my playroom was located. But like you, it was a place of survival.
Yeah.
I would go there to get away from what was going on upstairs. But it had a very dark feeling for me energetically as a child.
Because you knew what was happening upstairs.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And so every time that dream starts, and the way that the basement was set up, there was a door here that went to the garage, and then just a tiny hallway, and then the door that went down to the stairs. And whenever my dream starts, I'm standing in that hallway, and I'm like, do I go to the garage or do I go to the basement? And I can always just feel like it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's a horrific feeling that I get, and I've often woken up crying because of those dreams. And so that's another place that I land.
What about the parking garage thing?
And there's another one that I'm in a parking garage, and it's like World War III. And we are all, like you said, jumping out of stained glass windows, guns a-blazing. And where does that come from? I don't know. I'm not a video game person. I don't like to watch scary movies. I don't watch any of that. But I am prepared. I look like Katniss Everdeen, and I'm like ready to destroy who's ever coming after me and my family.
That's amazing. Do you feel, now I'm going to go someplace, as a woman, do you feel more vulnerable in a parking garage
because of that dream?
Well, not just because of the dream. You've lived in a lot of different locations.
Yes.
You've been to big cities.
Yes.
Do you feel vulnerable as a woman inside a parking garage? There's a lot of different places for muggers to hide.
Wait a minute. This is Freudian. You guys are there to do a psychology test.
Why?
Okay.
Because the thing of it is you're putting yourself in that survival mode.
Yeah.
Where would I need to be in survival mode?
I never thought of
parking
that.
garage.
But yes, I do. And I've actually prepared my daughter because, we just dropped her off at school.
Yep.
And she's in a big parking garage. And I'm like, listen, you put your hair in a baseball cap. Yeah, she doesn't live in the parking garage.
Just to be clear.
You put your hair up, and if it's at night, you carry your keys in between your fingers. And if you ever feel like someone is following you, you keep walking until you find somebody else, a group of people that you can glom onto. So yeah, maybe I'm projecting that onto her, but I never thought about that. Thanks, Floyd.
No, that's what we do. It's a different. And I don't have to say this, but like it's a different world for women than it is for men.
Right.
And so a parking garage to you and I is just a parking garage. Whatever. To a woman, it could be a minefield of horrible possibilities.
Yeah.
So I could, and I, no psychologist, but I'm just saying.
Plays one on the show.
But I did sleep in my own bed last night. So, but maybe that's why that's the location where you're like, okay, I need to hit survival mode. We're going there. That puts me in the mindset of survival. So
it goes back to your point about them preparing us.
Yeah.
For,
getting ready.
Yeah. Being prepared in a situation we might otherwise not find ourselves in.
And what are dogs preparing for when they're little paws?
And they fall too because they're like,
Yeah.
Yes, the
they
jump.
do.
Yeah.
I figured they either just caught what they wanted to get a hold of, and they're like doing the
they
head
got
shake,
caught.
or they got caught.
Right.
Because every time we see dogs doing their dreaming and their little
Yes.
kicking, we're always like, "Those chasing a squirrel."
Yeah.
You know? But in his dream, he's like running from a giant bear or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You know?
Or he's like attacking a zombie.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
It could be a helicopter. It could be anything.
anything.
And every time we go somewhere,
with
do
a
something
cigarette.
new, do something new with the dogs. You always say we're giving them something new to dream about tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know,
Every
so
time we
it
take
goes
them
back
somewhere.
to that. What are dreams like? Where do they come from?
So
about
my
you?
place is so weird because for years and years and years and years, it's always this place. It's I can see this place, but I'm inside, and maybe it is all disaster preparedness stuff. Now that I think about a lot of different scenarios, because
What does this place make you feel?
oh, it's horrifying. It's horrifying, and I got to get out. I either have to get to somebody or save myself or whatever it is, and it's dark and just all these corridors, whatever, and you can see that's the place I need to go. But it's one of those, it's out there and you're running and it is not getting any closer.
Yeah.
Finally get out of it one time. And whatever it is like right here. And as I turn, I see the house. Like I see it. I never knew what it looked like from the outside. And I wake up and I'm like, God, I hate that place. Like that is right when I see, like you said, in the hallway or what, I'm like, I don't want to be here again.
Yeah, get ready.
So
Yeah.
years go by, like 15 years later, I get a call from a buddy of mine, and he's like, hey, you got to come up. We got to go turkey hunting and have dinner and stuff, because I'd done a bunch of work with him and everything, and so kind of like a thank you or whatever. So he's in Missoula. I've never been to Missoula in my life. I've never been on this stretch of highway. I'm driving along, dirty-dur, and it's like after... Where's the Testicle Festival? Clinton Falls or
Well,
something?
there's a few.
Well-
which one would you like?
I want to know how you know about
I used to have a
Let me pull out my list of testicle
I used
festivals.
to have one in Casey, Wyoming.
And that's the show. Let's go to the Testicle Festival map. Let's go to the national map of testicle festivals.
Next show.
So anyway, I get past wherever that is. I can't remember where that is. But so you drop down and you kind of come up around this hill. And as I'm coming up around the hill, I kind of look out the windshield and I see the house. Like it's the house. And everybody's like, just stop. I'm like, hell no, I didn't stop. This is like the worst place in my dreams. I get a couple more miles down the road. I have to pull over and open the door. I think I'm going to puke. Like I had a physical reaction to seeing this place in reality.
Yeah, yeah.
Which then begs the question of different plane, different parallel universe. I've been in that. Like I'm almost ready to jump on my cell phone and be like, I don't know what's going on up there, but you want to send a SWAT team.
Yeah.
Because there's some sketchy shit.
I'm gonna walk up there and just let me walk through your house.
Right.
Just want to walk through.
And but it makes me wonder, how do I know? How did I recognize it so perfectly?
Yeah.
I mean, there's people, is it deja vu? Is it, did you dream it? Where you walk into a place and you're like, I've never been here before, but I can tell you what's in that drawer. Mm-hmm. So are you traveling outside your body? Are you actually, when you're dreaming, on an actual journey in a different universe, parallel, whatever it is, out of body experience? I don't know.
I've had those.
Yeah.
I have, when I was 7 years old, we were on our way to Wisconsin to meet my stepfather's family for the first time. And as we are pulling down the back roads of Wisconsin, I don't know, Minnesota, Wisconsin, if you've driven around there, it's just like turkey farm. Here's another fence, another cornfield, another row of trees.
Yep.
And I was like, I know exactly where we are. And it dawned on me that I had had this dream. And my mom turned around and said, we're almost here. I said, I know. After this row of trees, here's the house. And this is who the brothers and sisters are. And this are the names. And my stepdad almost drove off the road.
Because you knew.
I knew. And I remembered them coming to me like in a bubble. Oh, hi, this is Charlie. This is Mildred. This is Bob. This is Jolene. And I was introduced to all of them. I knew exactly who they were when I walked in the door.
It's incredible.
I've had that. And then I've had a couple others that really freaked me out. I had a dream one night about two cousins that I never met. Both of them died before I got to meet them. And I dreamt this not that long ago, maybe 2 years ago. And they were standing at the bottom of my Aunt Mary's house before she had her sliding glass door put in. And they were teasing me like my cousins all did when I was a little girl. They were just making fun and they were calling from the basement. And I'm like, I know exactly who they are. I know exactly who they are. And as a little girl, I can remember looking at them and going, that's you and that's you. I'd never met them. Had I seen a picture, but they didn't look like their picture, but I knew which was which. And they said, you have to do us a favor. And I wanted to get out to my Aunt Mary's backyard so badly. And I just kept trying to open the door, like, let me out, let me out. And they're like, you're not going anywhere until you promise us that you will do this. I said, okay. And I woke up the next morning and I was just off. And Erin said, what's going on? What's going on? And I said, this was my dream. And they told me I had to call my uncle and my aunt and deliver this message for both of them, brother and sister.
Then you better do it.
Yeah, he's telling me this. And I'm like, I sound like psychotic. Like, how do I do this? Right. And so I called my Aunt Mary first, thinking she will be the most kind because I don't speak to my Uncle Jim often. And I said, I had a dream last night and this is what it was. And this is who was there. And she said, honey, you need to call your Uncle Jim. Thank you for telling us, because her husband was going in for surgery. They didn't know if he would make it.
Wow.
He was then diagnosed with cancer. And I called my Uncle Jim and my Aunt Betty, who was alive at the time, and she started crying. My Uncle Jim could not speak on the phone. That cousin that I saw, his daughter, who was his namesake, had just committed suicide.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
But in the dream, they both said, you need to let them know we love them and we're thinking about them. That was the only message they wanted me to deliver.
And here's, there's stories like that across the globe.
Yes.
So when you brought up the global consciousness, is that really something that we truly have the ability to tap into? And I know I talk about it a lot, but let's look at the Buddhism chain of thought on that. And because the Buddhist practice teaches that that's pretty much what it is. Every living thing on the planet has a consciousness, and it's all connected together. And we can, what was one famous scene in a television show showed a real Buddhist who basically said, when you die, you're just rejoining that consciousness. That's it. That's all it is. You can give it whatever name you want. I don't care what name you want to give it. But that consciousness itself, are we able to tap into that when we go to sleep? And what is sleep? Which is something else that Sisson brought up today during our discussions. It's fascinating that you'll go insane if you don't sleep.
Yeah, it's one of those things I've always said, like, if I were God designing a human being, I don't know if I'd be satisfied with the design that has to be useless for a third of its brief existence, or it'll go insane.
Or it'll go crazy.
Yeah. It seems like kind of a big waste of time. About a third of your life, you're just lying there sleeping.
Yeah.
And the other third, you're in lines.
Yep.
Oh, man. But
So do something with your life.
You only got a third of it.
If even.
Yeah, the whole idea that you have to spend all this time sleeping it is kind of odd. And we don't even really understand fully why we sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
Let alone dreaming on top of that.
And it's interesting, when it comes to healing, you heal more when you sleep. Animals who are injured in the forest, they just lay down, take a nap, man. That's what they do. And I'm sure somebody's, been around when maybe something horrible's happened to a pet and you're like, all they want to do is sleep. And maybe veterinarians out there are saying, Floyd, you're saying the wrong thing, but let them, because that's when their body is healing, and it's fascinating to me that so many different mechanisms in this meat suit decide to turn off and turn on the minute I lay down. And to prevent, and this is going back to our shadow people discussion.
I actually have them coming up next.
to prevent me from punching my dog in my sleep or something, my brain's like, all right, I'm going to hit this switch. Yeah. It's going to release whatever hormone or chemical, and you're not going to be able to
be
actually move.
paralyzed.
You're going to be paralyzed. And that's where, sleep paralysis comes from. And it's terrifying until you learn the science behind it. And what's really fascinating...
Then it's even more terrifying.
to an extent, but I will say, I was in my 20s before I realized what sleep paralysis, not realized, what I was told sleep paralysis was by a scientist. And I was at the university and I was working for the Army at the same time. And my captain actually brought it up. She was sitting there one day and she said, have you ever experienced this? Where you wake up, there's shadow people, you can't move. It's terrifying. And I'm like, happens all the time, like all the time. And so she's like, you should go to class and ask some of these people what that is. And so I did. And they're like, oh, well, it's just X, Y, and Z taking place. It's completely natural. And the minute I learned that, the fear was gone. Now I'll still wake up, but I know I don't open your eyes.
Right. Don't look around.
Don't look around. You're not even really awake. So who knows what you're going to see? Just go back to sleep. As soon as I realize I can't move, I know it's just sleep paralysis. Go back to sleep. Everything is fine. And for over 20 years now, that's been my comfort blanket.
Because we are paralyzed during REM, right?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
have that.
Yep.
And so I woke up one day doing this because I was pouring a glass of water in my dream. And I woke up and my hands were above me doing that. And I remember thinking, well, that must not have switched on.
Yeah.
Because
It didn't take this time.
who wants some iced tea? It was crazy.
Wow. Well, so there's also versions of shared dreaming. Right? So kind of like I was talking about, you see that guy in the dream 35 years later. Did he have that same dream? Are you having a shared dream? Jill and Julie here are twins. They have a dream, very specific dream. They don't live together. They were miles apart at the time. Same night, same dream. East Indian guy, kind of like an accountant. And he kept repeating these numbers. And they each woke up independently, whatever. They're at dinner that night at their folks' house. And something comes up where Julie is like, well, yeah, I had this crazy kind of dream about this East Indian guy. And Jill was like, did you repeat numbers? And she's like, yeah, it was 11. And she's like, and 24? And they matched up.
Interesting.
They had the exact same dream.
That's really weird.
That is really weird. But
the
twins
crazy
are different,
part
though.
about
Twins
that,
are totally
so
different.
that's
The
where
synergy.
I went immediately is, well, you're twins. You have ESP and other crazy, creepy things, whatever.
Their DNA retains the same memory.
Yes.
Right. But go back a few years, our shadow person experience, right? And if you've heard these episodes, you know what happened. And the thing that her daughter said, when I'm standing in the kitchen drinking coffee like this, and she comes down and we complete each other's sentences on what had happened, her daughter comes down and she goes, you had the same dream. And we're like that's any less weird.
Yeah.
That'll scientifically explain everything.
Yeah, that's actually less comforting, I think.
Science, but then all of a sudden they're telling me about this dream, and I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah,
Maybe?
Can you say that on this show?
You can say whatever you
He
want.
just did.
We always do.
You can say whatever you
See, and that's something really interesting. People talk about soulmates and stuff like that, and I'm not one to do that. I'll admit that. I'm not one to do that. But I will say there are various individuals within this world that I've made a connection with. Much stronger, much faster, much more cohesive than others.
Right.
Like it goes beyond did we come from the same tribe? It goes down to like, man, I know you. And I mean, we could play with that all day long because it's like, well, you've got the NPCs and you've got the ones who are playing the game. Are you making connections with the ones who are playing the game and the other ones are just background noise? And we could look at that even from a spiritual experience. You know, let's say it's not technology where we're playing the game. Let's say that there is only a handful of us who have a different level of consciousness. Not saying that we're better than anybody, but the simulation theory.
Yeah, it just dictates these are the players.
These are the players. This group of individuals is actually a consciousness walking around, and the rest of them are just running on a program. And I say program because let's look at life. I knew that. I knew their faces. How did you know that?
Yeah, right.
Unless you had been there at some point, or, as Erin said, in another reality, you had met them long before then and made some sort of connection with you in another universe. Or is that connection with the other universe always there? We've just ignored it.
Right. And you tap into it when you're sleeping.
And when you go to sleep.
Because your
so
inhibitions
little
are
of our
gone.
brain
Right.
while we're awake.
Some more than others.
Well, yeah, and
You
when
know
you're-
who you are.
And when you're up and
I
doing
do.
things, you have all your defenses. Your brain's like, this is real, this is not.
Yeah.
And there's
Right.
all those blocks put up.
Fantastic point. You've got your walls up. You've got your defenses. Okay, I'm going into this situation. I know Becky's going to be a pain in the ass, so I'm going to raise this wall. And I know Joe's going to rip me out for last week, so I'm going to have that up. Or whatever. Life prepares you for these things. But when you're asleep, you're completely vulnerable. You're turned off to all of that stuff that's going on through the day that keeps you awake. You finally
Right.
set it off to the side. Now your unconscious can actually delve into something bigger. And I do think there's something bigger out there. You know, you talk to veterans who've gone through, therapy with psychedelics, and just talking to these vets over the years, I have learned that there is something beyond what we consciously think about every day. These individuals have got a level of trauma that very few can understand. And only a few therapy sessions under, certain guidance with certain types of drugs have led them not just back, but beyond where they were.
We just had a whole MDT discussion last night.
That was a nightmare. Anyway,
It's fun around our house.
he is definitely the better Erin. I have a question for you. With those people that you say you make those deeper connections with, do you dream about them more frequently?
What's really funny is when I think about individuals that I've dreamed about, and I can sit there and I can identify them and know that they're with me, it's in extreme cases of stress. When I went to Iraq, I went with my National Guard unit. We come from a very small town. So we all grew up together.
Okay.
We all knew each other. We were all at the wedding. We were all at the birth of that person's kid. And so when you go there, there's an extra level of, at the risk of sounding hokey, of like, I got to protect this. I would rather have me on the line than them because I know the people who are loving them. So I have a reoccurring nightmare. And my best friend since I was 13 years old went to war with me. And he was one of my soldiers. Horrible situation. I mean, like, there are individuals watching the show right now going, that's not what you want to do.
Right.
And they're right. Because I let him get away with murder. Not literally,
No, yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
I let him do it.
Yeah.
For the record.
For the record,
Yeah.
not, yeah. But like, I wasn't as hard on him. And talking to him, he would tell you the exact opposite. He would say, you were harder on me than you were all those other guys. And the reason why I bring him up is because he's the one in the dream. We're in a hallway. They're stacked boxes, almost like a video game, to give us cover. He's wounded, or I'm wounded. It's been same situation, different settings. And we had these handles on the back of our body armor so I could grab you and drag you. And for some reason, we're down to pistols. All we've got's our pistols. We're in this hallway, and I know they're coming through the door at the end. They just got to round that corner. And one of us is screaming and shooting. The other one's dragging and shooting. But we always reach a certain point where when it's overwhelmed, when it's just you can't get enough of them gone, you're about to lose, or we're out of ammo, we always hit that point, and then it goes into a third person. My brain removes me from that situation, and every single time I'm watching it on a computer, like I'm watching a video of what happened, and I watch us both go down. And that's happened to me more than once. Me and my little brother, we were surrounded by zombies once, and all I had was a pipe, and he had the hose from the radiator of the truck we were driving.
Fairly ineffective against zombies. Trust me, I've done some research.
But the truck we were driving had rolled over because we were trying to get away from zombies. And now, like, the fields are just coming in.
The horde.
And we're back to back, right? And that's it. And we're just fighting them off. And then I go into third person. It pulls me out of my body, and I see a top overview. And it's like the whole world has become zombies except for the two of us, and we're getting enveloped.
You're watching.
Yeah. So those reoccurring dreams of like end situation, man, there's no getting out of it. And so before my body's like, oh, that's it, Floyd, you feel the bullet. Because the minute I feel that bullet, boom,
You're
it
out.
pulls me out and gives me the third person view.
Double protection in the dream.
Maybe. But we've never, ever succeeded.
Really?
So every time you get
20
pulled up,
years.
it's the end, and it's
20
interesting.
years, this thing, over and over, and there's other ones too. Me trying to get home to my daughter and my wife, and that one's a nightmare. Like no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, I can't get home. The hallway never ends.
Right.
So I think it comes from that want to protect what you love. You want to, and my brain goes to a place where it's like, well, if you can't do it, then we're going out Hail Mary, blaze of glory,
Yeah.
to the bitter end, over and over and over again. And
So what's your normal dream? Like, there was a clown and the duck with a cigar. To nightmares. Like, I mean, like,
if I have like a normal dream, I would have to say that it usually ends up turning into something terrible. I can't think of an instance where I've had a dream in 20 years where I sit up and I'm like, whoa, that was refreshing. Or, oh, what did that clown mean? No, it always turns into something terrible where...
So here's what I'm getting. You guys had a kick-ass life. Had a lot of trauma. And when I was in high school, pretty privileged. But when I was in high school, it scared the holy Hannah out of me because I had my dreams analyzed. They were in color, in depth, very detailed. I know exactly. I can tell you who's present. I can tell you what we're using, what it smelled like, the visceral reaction to things, the emotion that you were talking is tied to it. And they're like, oh, you have the dream of serial killers. And then I'm like, oh, well,
that's fantastic. I have to be going.
No, but what that was
why are
saying
you
is...
locking the door?
What that was saying, here, you know what? It's on camera. It's on video. You're safe.
Been praying for this day.
They always give it away. They always tell. But I think it was because of that, the amount of trauma and emotion tied to it.
Yeah. And maybe that's what we're all lugging around in a way, and our brain is just trying to process it. And because there are certain smells and certain situations that'll put me in a place that I haven't been able to nail down yet. It's uncomfortable, and I don't mean dreams. I mean just walking.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll get a smell, you'll get a feeling, and it creates a physiological effect. My pores open up, and I'm instantly in this fight or flight mode. And I get flashes, not so much of like an image or a person, but of an emotion I felt at the touch of a certain texture. And I know that sounds really weird, but I get that, and it's almost like it's survival. It's a survival thing, One thing that you touched on, Erin, was getting your dreams analyzed.
Yeah.
So... I will have to say, though, I don't overly agree with that stuff.
I don't either.
Because when it comes to, like, And one example I found was snakes. So let's talk about snakes. Snakes in dreams. And one person will tell you, well, they represent this or they represent that. But it's all based on culture. Because if you go across the world, what is perceived as a threat, a snake, is perceived as a sign of wisdom in other cultures. Right. You saw the snake. Something great is about to happen. You know, the snake came and spoke to you. You got the well of wisdom right there.
Snake comes to me in my dream and speaks to me, I'm out. I don't care what it's saying.
He's done.
I'm gone.
Snake would look at you and say, just so you know, totally blamed Eve, but you were the first one to eat it. Buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
Eve was framed.
Yeah. You first.
So how about, do you have the ability to either lucid dream, where you know you're dreaming and you're controlling it, or at least do the dream reentry?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Yeah. You can do that?
I did it like 5 or 6 times last night.
How do you
Great.
do that?
Wake up, roll over, pet the dog. Okay, let's go back.
You
okay.
you got to stay don't get too awake.
Right.
No,
And Grant even has an image from part of my dream last night that I went into Flux, my AI, and said, here's what I need. So the whole setup was, I was at fire camp in the mountains. I don't know why. And there were these mountain lions like terrorizing the camp. They didn't hurt anybody, but they'd come in and they'd take stuff that we needed or whatever, and they'd leave. And we didn't know where they were going. So somebody's like, I know what will keep them away. No-neck giraffes that look like hippos, right? And they didn't say that, but this is what they brought in. And sure as shit, the mountain lions disappeared. I wake up. I roll over. I pet the dog.
I thought you were going to say me. I was going to be real mad right now.
I pet Kranz. And I go back to sleep and I'm like, okay, the hippo giraffe things. And I pick right back up. They're over grazing, whatever. Next thing I know, I'm like sleeping bag, drone, and I'm flying. I got to go find where this fire's at. There's this group of people of all different shapes and sizes, one giant weird lady, and she keeps grabbing me and pulling me down. Doesn't want me to get too high in the drone or something. I wake up. I roll over. I'm like, okay, I'm in the sleeping bag. Okay. I'm right back in it.
That's incredible. I can't do that. I've never done that.
And to the point where I'm like, that's exactly what those things look like. I mean, it was so vivid and so I was there. Why was I there? Disaster preparedness? Is there going to be a fire? I don't know, but I was there.
We have to
I can smell
genetically
it.
create those things.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Fantastic. Trademark.
Emmy will need one.
She'll absolutely need one.
But when I say I almost puked because I saw that, because it's so real.
Yeah.
When I dream like that, it is so freaking real that if I walked outside and saw one of those right now, I'd want to pet it, but I might also want to puke because I'd be like, that can't be real.
Right.
But who's to say that isn't real
Somewhere
else?
Yeah.
So, Sisson, you just said that you can lucid dream,
yeah.
which is a totally different thing. And
So
something,
the difference between what I'm doing and lucid dreaming is in the dream, you know you're dreaming,
right?
and you take advantage. Like you start
controlling the narrative.
It's 12:30, and then you look again, and you're like, it says it's 6:30. I'm dreaming. Okay, let's get it on.
You can do that too.
No, I haven't been able to do that.
but you can.
I don't really have any specific examples because I don't have a lot of vivid memories of dreams. But yeah, there's been a lot of times where you'll realize you're dreaming. It's like, this doesn't seem right. Then you realize, oh yeah, this is a dream. And so then you can just do whatever you want. You can just start.
See, the big
controlling
difference
the story.
between that is he gets to control the story. I just go back and I go, yeah, those things aren't real, but they are now. And I just roll with it.
And you said you wake up. We wake up.
Yeah.
Because I wake up every time I
done.
realize this has got to be a dream.
If
Boom,
it's a
I'm
good
wide awake.
dream, I want to get back into it. I'm like, don't move the position. Okay.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Dang it! I
Yeah,
saw
at
a little
that
bit of
point, you've already-
sunlight.
you've already
The
thought
dogs
too much
are
about
aware
it.
that I'm awake. Okay,
Yeah.
too late.
And then it's over.
It's over.
And I've
Yeah,
never
you-
been able to go back
either.
or control.
You've got to not even think that much about it.
Yeah, you can't be overly
Yeah.
excited to do it.
Yeah. Because then you're awake.
Then
Right.
the adrenaline hits.
My brain does this.
Yeah.
So the
She
minute
has a
I'm
squirrel
awake,
brain.
that's it.
I think the key is maybe this is probably why I can do it. I get called from the radio station and get woken up to do some tech support thing. You've got to instantly like start going into troubleshooting mode, analyze the problem, figure out a solution. So those kind of like switches of the brain mode maybe allows you to,
They've been hit so many times
Yeah.
that you can just react them.
and then you go back to sleep after that and go back and dream again when you're done with all that troubleshooting stuff.
That's fascinating. So here's a study that I would like to do. I think that would be absolutely fascinating. What do you do for a living, and can you dream lucidly?
Yeah, is there any connection?
Is there any connection to the way that you have to think, like in that, where it's like, okay, so I was, a protector. Okay, so you're gonna suffer with these nightmares forever, I think. And then we've got Steve, who's like, you got to react, and you got to react right now. So your brain wires itself up to do that. Aaron,
Who knows what I do?
who knows what the
Analytical.
Where
Genetically
those came from? I
engineered,
don't know.
He's got an analytical brain. You can see all of it. I
Yeah,
think that
usually.
Yeah.
And see, the thing of it is like in reality, and I don't want to get too deep into what you do, but we get to fun you.
Yeah,
Here at work, we get to fund you. What you do outside of here is very analytical and requires a lot of thought and research. So, it's odd because usually it's the exact opposite. you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we get to work, Aaron. But really, we get to fund you.
Yeah, he's on vacation right now.
You do.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's
like my
dreaming.
favorite part of the
He's
night.
not really here.
Who knows? No, but that's the difference. Is like I would know. Like, so I'm not lucid dreaming, but I know what's real. But I didn't know that those weren't real because they were there. They were
commonplace.
doing what they were supposed to be doing. They were brought in for that purpose. But this is, real. Like, so I know those aren't real, but when I'm there, I'm like, no, that's right. They're supposed to be here. I don't know how to explain that. It's just it's very weird.
I don't know if I can. I mean, I guess I can. But I had a family member who can lucid dream. And they said they discovered this during a nightmare when something was chasing them. And they thought,
Not today, Satan.
well, in a way, but they thought, what's the most comforting, reassuring thing that I could possibly do? And he said, next thing he knew, he had like Care Bear commandos
Nice.
showing up on site to defend him from whatever this thing was that was hurting him. And he's like, and from that point on, I knew if I ever have a nightmare, he just calls in the Care Bear commandos.
Also trademarked.
Like they just, and I'm just like imagining this in my head. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so you got Care Bears that show up in military uniform getting ready to kick some ass. And he's like, oh yeah, man, they're amazing. Like,
It's
just
like
take over.
imagining the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Where all of a sudden you just pull this out of a thought because it's a safe place.
See, that's so weird because everybody's got those similar dreams, but then everybody's got different dreams. Like Grant was talking about his dream family. Like he
got
goes
a whole
and
nother
visits them for like weeks on end, and he's thinking about his real family.
Yeah.
But how do we know that his real family is not his dream family?
Could just be another dream.
Once
family.
again, I believe it was Hawking who said, the multi-universe exists. From what he did kind of find was the evidence of this. I think mathematically, you'll have to double check everything I'm saying. Just make that a general rule from here on out. Just go back and double check everything.
Asterisks.
But that the hard part is to think, because we have to put it in something tangible, right? Something that we can visualize in our heads. So what do we always do? I want you to imagine a jar full of marbles. Each marble is a universe. And so we just picture this, that we're all butted up next to each other. What if it is something much different? Quantum computers have this ability to do work that would take, like, what is it? Like 10 to the umpth billion.
I think a buttload is the actual.
Yeah,
term.
Yeah.
an actual
Yes.
buttload of years to make this.
And they don't even know where
calculation.
that information is
And
coming
they don't
from.
know where it's coming from.
Right.
Meaning, have we discovered an ability that we do not understand yet? Where it's like this computer may have the ability to reach into multiple universes to get this information.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of interesting because it is like copying an MPEG of a movie or something. Like dreams don't occur in real time.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
I had a friend recently.
Or do they?
Well, I know a friend recently was in a mountain bike accident, fell off the bike, broke some ribs, and was knocked out only for a few seconds. But he's like, I was instantly dreaming. He's like, I had like a 5-minute dream.
Oh, yeah.
And it came to, but the guys with me said I was only out for a few seconds. And so he had a long dream in that
time.
Yeah.
See, but that's which leads me more to believe you're actually leaving. Because I will have things like this where the snooze alarm goes off way too many times lately. Like we're talking 5 or 6.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I will go back to this and it'll be an hour, feels like. I mean, there's all these things that happen. The snooze goes off. It's what, like 9 minutes? Well, it's going to take me some time to fall back asleep.
Right.
It's going to take me some time to get back to it. So how long is that?
Yeah.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
And it feels like hours or days?
Yeah.
The squishy thing between our ears is extremely fascinating.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
some people say that, and honestly, I used to believe this very heavily, but now I question it, that deja vu is nothing more than a neuron developing, okay, to basically store information. So like a bit, it's like, okay, so now I got this information, but at the same time, as it's developing this memory, it's recalling the
At the same
memory
time.
as it's developing. So you're experiencing deja vu.
Yeah, you're behind real time a little bit.
You are recalling information as it's being imprinted onto a neuron. Thus, deja vu. You feel like you've been there, but you actually haven't. It's just telling you we've been here
Yeah, it's
before.
just when it
That's
goes on
weird.
for far too long.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, far too long.
Or we were just at, we were looking for her classes on campus
Yeah.
when we dropped her off. And Erin and my daughter gave up because they couldn't get in. I'm like, no, I'm having deja vu. Go to the last door and open it. It's unlocked. There's somebody in there. We opened
And
the
it
door
was,
sure
and
shit.
the janitor was like, hello? And we're like, take her name off there.
See,
Anyway,
Yeah, but
yeah.
she's like, no. You go over there and it's the door on
Yeah.
the right. I
Yeah,
think
that's
it
a
was.
little
But then
different
it makes me feel like, because I was feeling like I was in deja vu as they were trying it, because I'm like, I know this place.
yeah.
I
But
know
we've
it,
never
but I know
once
we're not
been
going to be
there.
able to get in except for that door. But then what you just said makes me think maybe it was like a little glitch, and it was
Little
just trying to
bit
catch
flip.
up because
A little bit flip somehow. But
Yeah.
how did you know somebody was actually going to be in
I
there?
don't know.
That is the outlier to
Yeah,
this.
that goes beyond just
Because
deja
that's
vu.
beyond just making the memory. You knew someone was
I'm
going
like,
to be
someone's in
inside
there.
there.
Just open the last door.
So are
Yeah,
we
weird.
on a loop? And our dreams are trying to tell us, been there, done that, experienced this.
Or we gave up that one time. Don't do it again.
All right.
Well, I play a lot of video games, like Grant, and I always try to loop in the reason for death and resurrection, right? So in one video game, I just consider that all video game characters that I'm playing are essentially immortal. Every death is a learning experience. What if it's something like that? What if it honestly is not a video game, but just what if that is the nature of reality? Where every once in a while, it resets after, well, this would have cost you your life.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
let's go back.
Yeah, I had another guy.
Let's just do this again.
Yep.
Or let's go someplace where it was safe. I mean, the nature of reality since we started doing these shows has become a very shaky foundation.
Yes.
Like, man,
Yes, the construct is like not really there
No.
anymore.
yeah, I had like this solid frame of what everything was, and
We
then
finally ruined it.
and the more
You have.
research you do, though, you're like, I just don't know if I'm actually here, man.
You're right,
Like,
yeah.
I
Right.
would love to be able to sit here and take the pragmatic approach, the good old Wyoming pragmatic approach. It's in your hand. It's real. But is it?
That's the thing, is it? Because clearly not real.
Not real.
But I'd rather like to think that that's an amalgamation of things, or maybe that once happened like prehistorically, like maybe that was another lifetime, right? Rather than astral projection. I don't want to go to the mountains and see that.
I do. I did. It was great.
I would scratch it right under there on that fat belly.
There are a lot worse things to see than those, I think.
But point being, like, are those real somewhere else?
Right.
Yeah.
Is
Like
there a universe
gravity
where that
developed
exists?
and they aren't in the Sahara having to reach high trees. They're in the mountains grazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Reality is, I know reality is here. Is it a simulation? Who knows? But I truly believe that dreams are journeys. Because that's not my brain trying to rid me of those.
It could be Babette and Gustafer J.
They could be
It could-
Frenchies.
it could be the dog.
But why would it
Yeah.
be these fat necklace giraffes?
Because we have fat necklace.
Yeah, I think for me anyway, like my brain's like, well, you're just gonna lie there? Okay, I'm just gonna go over here and see what's in this drawer.
I'm going to go find something to do.
Yeah, and the drawer is always labeled emotions because it's always just like emotions, but it kind of gets like
Interesting.
filtered by, you know, your other experiences. And I think when you wake up, you kind of try to make sense of the emotions you were feeling, and then stuff like this gets formed around it. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I think is going on. It's just raw emotions, but you're trying to make sense of it when you wake up.
Well, and
No, Steve, I'm going places.
You're going places. I'm just lying there. My brain's like, oh, well.
Drawer of emotions.
Yeah, yeah.
it's a good point though, because what did we dream before we had language? Mm-hmm. What did we dream before we had the arts? What did we dream before we understood what a giraffe was or what this was? What did we dream when we were all in the cave?
Well, here's
And-
what I desperately
Yeah.
wonder about is if you are blind from birth,
What do you dream?
what do you dream?
I looked it up.
You did?
I did. That's the only preparation I did for this show.
Here's your time to show. That's 100% more than Sissy.
Yeah, and run up time. We'll see you next week.
And I don't know because I don't have, excuse me, that's terrible. Because I don't have that experience of having, being blind, okay? But it says that the blind people are based off emotion, but because their other senses are so heightened that in their dreams they can smell things,
Wow, yeah.
feel things,
Taste things,
hear
whatever.
things. It is completely a visceral
So
experience.
that kind of ties into what I was thinking. That
Absolutely.
It's emotions that are just being interpreted by.
Yes.
So is there any
That's what they said.
visual? That
Okay,
makes the visual?
So what I was looking at, I looked at 3 different things. That's not a lot of research. I'm sorry. But all of them said there was nothing to be seen. However, I haven't asked any blind people or a friend of mine who's blind, do you have a visual? And is it different if you went blind later than if you were born blind at
Yeah,
birth?
right,
Yeah, 'cause
right.
if they were blind from birth, how would they even
How
describe
would
that?
they describe it? They wouldn't be able to.
I was at a talk where a man had gone blind due to a head injury, and he went blind very, very young. And he said, so we asked him, you know, what do you actually remember visually? And he said, I remember the color green. He said, that's it. That's all I can remember.
Wow.
He said, and the only reason I can remember that is because I remember standing on the lawn when I was a little boy out front of my house. And he said, and I was fascinated with the grass. So he loved grass. And so now whenever he touches grass, he said he visualizes the color green. So he loves to go out and feel grass because it's the
Wow.
one image that he still
That's
retains.
awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing, by the way. The man is like a skier. He skis on auditory cues because he always goes
Yeah,
with a
I've
partner.
seen that.
And this
Wow.
partner
I
knows
have
how to
seen that
scrape the
before.
ice or
Right.
scrape the snow.
Yep.
And so he follows where his friend is by sound
Wow.
and sound alone. Yeah, he came to our school and spoke because he's done all these amazing things. He didn't let that stop him at all. It was amazing.
Not
But you know, it is a different perception because now I've got all these other different sensory inputs that aren't visual, and we forget how much of our world is built on vision. You know how much of
absolutely.
everything around us is vision, and what we see. And these individuals, you know, it's all about what they hear. It's all about what they smell, and their realities are created in a totally different way. And so that is a fantastic question. Something, if we got a listener out there who may be visually impaired, I would ask, comment, let us know,
Please.
what do you see or feel, or because I'm
Do
fascinated.
you have
to hear that.
reoccurring dreams?
And are any reoccurring? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a smell that
right.
constantly returns? And so we're getting to the point where we got to wrap this up.
Grant has stuff to do.
He's got to go visit his other family.
Grant's busy.
Yeah, he's got to go visit his dream family.
He's got a real job. Okay, Erin, this was kind of your idea, so I'm going to give you, go for it, man. What do you think?
I think we'll never know. We just don't know what they are. I think it's fun to try and figure out what they are, but at the same time, everybody's so different that you dream completely different than Sisson, than I, than her, than Grant with his other family. God knows where they are. He abandons his family like once in a while.
Come back to reality.
But I love, I don't love the house dreams, but I love dreams. I get a kick out of that kind of stuff. And waking up and going, oh, I remember that. But they're also very trippy in when you dream of those things that either come to fruition or almost like, in a weird way, save your life. You're like, I've seen this before and I know not to do this. That's where it gets supernatural and really spooky.
Yeah.
But I think that those are there for a reason.
Absolutely. Give us a like, subscribe, and you know what? If you've got a really good dream or you want to make a comment on this, please go ahead, comment below. Let us know what you think about dreams. What do you think they are? What's the weirdest dream you've had? Is there a reoccurring individual that keeps popping in? Why? Why is Mr. Howdy here again? You've been watching Jackalopes Explore.
Dreamy episode.
Dreamy. Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming.